Karen Douglas.
And I'm Catherine Parkwist. We're both GPs on the Central Coast.
Yep.
And this is an update with very exciting news about the vaccines that are heading our way very soon.
Very soon.
Not all, but lots of GP practices will be offering the vaccine, and most likely from next week.
Yep. And it'll be a very slow rollout, and we need it to be controlled, don't we?
Yeah, very measured.
Yeah, because it will be a supply will come in very gently to every place that is actually offering the vaccination, and therefore we will be reaching out to the cohort of patients and our residents who will require the vaccine. In phase 1B, it's predominantly those who are vulnerable, the older people, those who work in health, those with disability and with chronic illness, those who are carers and in disability. So I think you'll find most practices will probably reach out to those people in different groups as time goes. Now we've got plenty of time to vaccinate our community, don't we?
We do. Lots of time. It's going to be slow, measured, but everyone will be offered the vaccine.
Now most practices and most locations offering the vaccine will have an online appointment system. And do you want to talk about the eligibility tracker?
Yeah, there's a great eligibility tracker available on the government site. I think we'll try and link, but most Facebook sites or your practice will have information about where to find that. But it goes through very clearly what are your circumstances, what is your age, and it will tell you when approximately you'll be in the roadmap for the vaccine.
We encourage everyone to be organised if they can, to have the discussion, talk about it amongst their own family and friends, particularly if you're not sure. But don't be discouraged. And if you've got further questions, we encourage you to make an appointment with your own GP, go along and have a chat about it, so that when you come to have the time for you to have your vaccination, you are prepared.
On the day, it needs to be really smooth. So on the day that we're vaccinating, we'd prefer you to come ready for the vaccine.
Right. The other thing is important is we do encourage everybody to go online through the Department of Health COVID site and have a look at the eligibility tracker. The consent form will be on there too. Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things that may be raised on the consent form that might concern you about having the vaccine. Most of these are just discussion points, not saying don't have it if there's something on that consent form. So everyone needs to fill in the consent form before the vaccine. If you have any questions, discuss with your GP. But overwhelmingly, I think we can say the vaccine's safe.
Definitely. Look, when we look at the multiple millions of people throughout the world who have been vaccinated.
And we're just being cautious on the consent form to try and stratify any kind of risk and to think in advance. But
so it is safe. The vaccines that are available in Australia are safe, and we'd encourage everybody to be vaccinated.
So eligibility tracker online. Do the pre-consent and the consent forms. Any questions, contact your GP.
Yeah, and contact them by making an appointment. We encourage you to make an appointment face-to-face or as a telehealth appointment to discuss your eligibility and when you may have your turn in being vaccinated.
That's true. So you'll have your first vaccine, and it's very likely that there'll be a nice gap between the first one and the second one. And that gap will also be managed online for the most part. So you'll be recalled for your second vaccine. And the good news is there's enough time between those two that we can squeeze flu vax.
Just to emphasise again, it's coming up for cold and flu season. Hopefully we won't see much flu this year, but with any sniffles, coughs, any symptoms.
We still need to swab.
Absolutely. Yeah. We encourage you to connect with your GP, talk about management, manage your asthma well, manage those symptoms well. Don't go to work when you've got a cough and cold. And we do recommend have a swab early.
Have a swab still get checked. It will keep us all safe. We'll detect anything if it happens to occur early.
Yeah, and that includes children and adults. So, but you know, we want to get out and about, and so we do recommend that we vaccinate our community, as many of us who can, to particularly protect those vulnerable in our communities.